A big exclusive tonight. In his first American interview since being pardoned, former media baron Conrad Black will be here live later in the hour. Also tonight, Kellyanne Conway, George Papadopoulos, Dan Patrick, and Ed Rendell. But first, America for whom? That's the focus of tonight's angle. If you somehow thought that Donald Trump was going to shy away from tackling big issues after Republicans lost the House last November, you'd be wrong. From China trade to infrastructure and now to immigration, he's shown fans and critics alike that he's not just marking time. He really is pursuing what he believes will make America great again. Meaning he's focused on lifting up the American worker, the American family, and the American tradition.
Our proposal is pro-American, pro-immigrant, and pro-worker. It's just common sense. It will help all of our people, including millions of devoted immigrants, to achieve the American dream.
Now, his plan would basically end the current legal immigration dynamic under which 1.1 million people are given green cards to live and work in the United States. They don't reduce the number, but the framework changes. Now, present law allows for 66% of all legal immigrants to come through chain migration, and sometimes people describe it as distant family migration. Now, all of them are admitted regardless of professional capability or English proficiency.
The biggest change we make is to increase the proportion of highly skilled immigration from 12% to 57%, and we'd like to even see if we can go higher. This will bring us in line with other countries and make us globally competitive.
In other words, a merit-based system is what the White House wants to create. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it, versus what we have now? Well, it doesn't make sense to Nancy.
I want to just say something about the word that they use, merit. It is really a condescending word. Are they saying family is without merit? Are they saying most of the people who have ever come to the United States in the history of our country are without merit because they don't have an engineering degree?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. This is breathtakingly disingenuous or ignorant or both. It brings us to a question, though. Ours is a country for whom exactly? Is it for anyone who comes across a river and recites a script? Is it for people who truly go through the legal process, who want to be American in every sense of the word? American citizens, black, brown, Asian, and white, who work their tails off every day to support themselves and their families? Well, I choose the latter, and those people who desperately want to be American in the legal way. Now, right now, we flood the country with more people, legal and illegal, and what happens is we make it tougher for native-born Americans who are already struggling.
Unfortunately, the current immigration rules allow foreign workers to substitute for Americans seeking entry-level jobs. America's immigration system should bring in people who will expand opportunity for striving, low-income Americans, not to compete with those low-income Americans.
He's exactly right. Job creators, better than people who might be dependent on the system. But I also want to say this. Don't buy into the malarkey. The Chamber of Commerce recites this endlessly, that America needs millions and millions of more workers. The real translation for we have a worker shortage is we don't want to raise wages. They never like it when wages are going up. And if you believe in the law of supply and demand, a tight labor market means that wages are going up. And when wages go up, that leads to happier workers and maybe even happier voters in 2020, and maybe even people who are having bigger families, which is also good for society. Now, whatever you think of Trump's framework on immigration, it is a heck of a lot more than the Democrats are doing, which is nothing. Now, last week we took you to Del Rio, Texas, that sector of the border, and it was nothing short of shocking. Our absurd laws, our rulings by radical judges have basically incentivized widespread fraud, and the cartels doing all the human and drug trafficking are fat and happy, while regular Americans have to suffer. This must stop. Congress should stay in session until they pass the necessary legislation to close all these loopholes and end this madness. Now, at the current pace, by the end of this calendar year, we will have caught and released almost 1 million migrants into the United States. Wrap your head around that figure. But immigration activists aren't buying it. They don't want you even to know these facts. The group New Jersey Alliance for Immigrant Justice issued this statement today. This plan of the president's is a continuation of Stephen Miller's scheme to impose his white supremacist ideology on the American people with anti-immigrant and racist attacks by punishing immigrants and asylum seekers. They're so predictable that they're actually boring. Yesterday, we heard from Americans whose lives have been shattered because of illegal immigration. The wife and the brother, a police officer killed by an illegal immigrant in the sanctuary state of California, said this.
You're the only one that actually reached out and said, gave your condolence to the family. And it actually means a lot to all of our law enforcement families that are here.
This man over here, the Singh family supports him. Whatever he's doing for the law enforcement, we support him. The White House has reached out to us multiple times. I don't think that has ever happened before, ever. This man is amazing.
Kamala Harris, I don't believe, ever contacted the Singh family. Somehow Democrats are unmoved by stories like Corporal Singh's killing, the human toll of illegal immigration. They don't even want to acknowledge it. But let's make one thing clear. Trump also, while focusing on border enforcement and the need to change the system, he also appreciates, as we all do, that legal immigrants add tremendously and have consistently to our nation's unfolding story, our economy and our culture. And any media person who says differently about Trump and what he believes is lying to you. But the president also correctly understands that our safety, our security, our American culture, and our prosperity have at times been compromised and our people harmed by feckless politicians who'd rather complain on MSNBC than offer a way forward. The president is now calling their bluff with his sensible plan, and that's the angle.